Good morning. This is KICY Nome and KYKD Bethel. KICY and KYKD are owned and operated by the Arctic Broadcasting Association, a subsidiary of the Evangelical Covenant Church of Alaska.
Since 1960, KICY Radio has been a call to awakening for the people of Western Alaska. The first radio station west of Fairbanks and Anchorage, it has been a reassuring voice along 1,000 miles of rugged western coast, reaching as far inland as 200 miles and across the Bering Sea to the Russian Far East. As an arm of the Evangelical Covenant Church, KICY has a clear goal.
Whatever we do, we have to say, are we encouraging people in their faith? Are we trying to explain to people their need for the Lord?
KICY News Time is 12:22, and here's your Western Alaska weather outlook.
But when you first hear it, KICY might sound like most any other radio station, a blend of news, weather, and contemporary music. The station's aim to draw non-Christians to its listening audience.
We try to attract them with broad-based music, very popular artists, and then bring them along as they listen to contemporary Christian artists, bringing the gospel that way.
Good morning, this is Charlotte calling from KICY Radio, and I'm calling to see what might be going on around town that we can talk about on the radio.
KICY serves as a vital communication link for the tiny Eskimo villages that dot Western Alaska, broadcasting news of local interest.
Okay, how many students are involved in the Native Youth Olympics?
And during the hunting and fishing seasons, letting loved ones send messages to people in remote areas, people who have no other way to stay in touch.
To John McCarthy at Brevig from Stella McCarthy, please call me at 443-5718. Anyone hearing this message, please pass it on, and that's to...
But once a person begins listening, they'll hear the gospel.
I really feel that sometimes, I know I'm touching hearts out there, I'll say, this song is about broken hearts and loneliness. Maybe you feel that way, maybe you should listen to this song. And, the Bible says that God comforts those who are brokenhearted or something like that. And I definitely feel like a missionary, reaching people. Mm-hmm.
We have what we call God spots, which is, I guess you could say, 30 and 60 seconds of the gospel.
So where do we get this game plan for our everyday lives? It's all in the Bible. God has laid out plans for us, strategies to use in certain situations, and given us all kinds of warnings about those on the other team. Open up the Bible and learn some of the basic plays of life.
KICY runs Christian programs such as Focus on the Family with Dr. James Dobson. KICY also broadcasts in languages other than English. In the Eskimo languages, KICY broadcasts local and national news, Bible readings, testimonies, and songs.
KICY kunungip suuna kamsi yupigaston ako jipigam hanako na March 29.
Since 1970, KICY has also been broadcasting in Russian, hoping to reach people in what was then the closed society of the Soviet Union.
First in serving Western Alaska, this is KICY Nome and Alakanuk. For the next 90 minutes, KICY will be broadcasting in the Russian language.
Вы слушаете радиостанцию «Голос Арктики» из города Нома, штат Alaska.
Because of the way radio waves travel, KICY's engineers knew their signal was reaching the Soviet Far East and easternmost Siberia, but for most of 2 decades, they didn't know if it was reaching any hearts there, because there was little freedom of travel or communication between the two countries. Then, in 1988, as the Soviet society began to open up, a friendship flight from Alaska to the seaport of Providenia provided confirmation that KICY's message had been getting through. People talked of hearing the gospel in their own language, some of having their faith strengthened through KICY's ministry.
It was very exciting to us to find out that people were listening to us in the Russian language. Between 1970 and 1988, there were maybe a handful of people who had told us that they were actually listening in the Russian language or contacts with people so that we could confirm that.
And as people from Russia came to visit Nome, more confirmation.
One gentleman who came over here from Providenia, he came into the studio to visit the station, and he started crying because this was the station he had been listening to it. He was just kind of moved that he was actually able to be here.
Ваш ребенок совсем отбился от рук. Каждый раз, когда вы берете его с собой в магазин,
KICY will be an important link as the Evangelical Covenant Church of Alaska expands its ministries to reach the people of the Russian Far East. As KICY looks to the future, it needs three things. Number one, prayer. Prayer for those who work at KICY and for those who listen, so that the station will continue to be an instrument of God's love to the people of Alaska and Russia. Number two, financial support. 70% of KICY's budget comes from financial gifts. And third, volunteers. Nearly all of KICY's staff is volunteer, people who have made a 1 or 2 year commitment to work here.
I had not one speck of experience in radio. Basically, it was my willingness just to come here and learn. And when I got here, they trained me for about a week, and then they put me on the air.
We take people who know nothing about radio, other than you can turn one on and off, and they can come up here and we will train them.
All of the volunteers raise their own support.
For me, fundraising is not the first 3 letters of the word. In other words, it's not fun. So I sent out a letter telling people that this is what I was interested in doing, and if they would be interested in supporting me, they could send a check to the Covenant. And I've received a tremendous amount of support. I haven't ever had to worry about my financial situation.
We want people who are committed. We only need people who really see this as a ministry, who see an opportunity to reach out to the people of Western Alaska, to the people of Russia, with the good news.
Come on up. We'll train you. Give you about a week, then you can go on the air.